In this video, we're going to look at the Flowers of Friendship stamp set. When I looked at this, one of the first things that attracted me to it was I really like this script. The second thing I liked was the fact that it coordinates with a punch. I love die cutting, but punches are a whole lot quicker and faster. I like that too. I like having the sentiment laid out in a vertical pattern because that opens up a whole new possibility for layouts on cards. And then this little row of flowers down here, oh gosh, that would be nice on an envelope, but it would also, you could do a lot of interesting just backgrounds with that piece right there. For this project, we're going to use the individual blossoms because the blossoms and the leaves coordinate with this punch. The colors that I'm going to use is the new In Color Fresh Freesia, pairing that purple with the yellow from Daffodil Delight and a really bright green. We're going to use Granny Apple Green. Start by stamping and coloring my flowers. So now I'm going to come back and do some coloring. Come back and add some dark highlights in the centers of each of these flowers. I'm going to go with the dark yellow for the center of each flower. And here's for the small flowers. The Stampin' Blends do come in black, and I'm going to make the center of each of these flowers black. Now it's time to do the leaves. I decided to go a long ways because the leaf is going to fit in to the punch this way, and that way I can just punch one, punch the next, punch, highlighting with the light and dark on these as I was doing with the leaves. We're going to be going with a Fresh Freesia card base on white. Black for contrast, and we're going to end up layering all of these flowers on here. Sentiment is going to be on the tailored tag punch. It's going to be this one. Little card, big thanks, but we're going to heat emboss it on black. So here's the rest of the piece that I cut my big oval from. I'm going to emboss in white embossing powder. I like to keep my embossing powders in a Tupperware piece, but I like the size of this because I'll show you when I sprinkle over it, then this is going to catch all my spills. And I just make myself a little scoop with a staple in here. All right, so before I heat emboss it, I do two things. I make sure that I got good coverage with the embossing powder, and I'm going to come back and sprinkle a little bit more on. And then I go back, and if I've got any stray pieces, like you can see off to the left or to the right here, I'll wipe those off with my thumb if I can. Tap, see if I got them all off. Anything else that I can get with my fingers. Sometimes I'll bring a little paintbrush in and try to get the extra speckles out. But I'm going to show you another thing that we can do to cover up anything that managed to stay on and get melted onto the card. Okay, so I'm going to leave you for a minute and go heat this. Okay, that is just really special when you get that white powder melted into the card. It just really pops. Unfortunately, so does all the little speckles that I got on there that I didn't manage to brush off before I heated it. Let's bring back in my black blends. And I'm just going to use that fine little tip there and just cover up any little white things that I didn't want to have show. Because remember that the blends is like a Sharpie. And now no one sees those extra little speckles that I didn't want. All right, this is the reason that I got this stamp set, is because I just wanted to play around with layering of the flower. And when you've got a punched flower like this, you can add dimension. Take the edge of your bone folder and just kind of bring it along the edge of each of the flowers and see how it's going to curl up like that. It'll get flattened when it goes through the mail, but it'll still have a little bit of memory about the curve when it pops out of the envelope at somebody's house. Now I'm going to layer a couple of these. So just take this flower, stick it right on, and then I can layer one on top of the other, kind of at an angle. Now it's just a matter of taking these leaves and sticking them in wherever they look good. You can put them on a glue dot to stick them in, or you can just add some, stick them on the end of your tape runner too. So there you have a card that uses the punch, that adds a little bit of distressing dimension to the petals after you've punched them out. There's lots of things you could do if you wanted to jazz this up some more. You could add some rhinestones. You could put a little bow with twine right here. Actually, I'm going to come back with my shimmery crystal effects and add a little dollop in the middle of each flower.